Hello, Brav. I'm back with The Advent of the Cosmic Viewpoint by Bryant Reeve, who was a Detroit ufologist who also wrote Flying Saucer Pilgrimage. He was a friend of Laura Mundo's, and he also appeared in a movie, though I can't remember which movie it is. Let me get to this. Chapter 3, The Fragmentation of Truth. For a minute, I thought it said Turth. The Fragmentation of Truth. There is an ancient legend which tells of the following incident. One day, many years ago, a great being suddenly appeared on the surface of Earth. He was a commanding figure, tall, with white hair and flowing robes. In his hands he held a strange object, which emitted a dazzling white light in all directions. So brilliant, so penetrating, so beautiful was this light that its radiance seemed to illumine the entire world. People everywhere saw flashes of this brilliant light and were drawn toward it. They stopped what they were doing, their plowing, their work, and their play, to gaze in rapture at this wondrous light. Everywhere men, women, and children paused in their activities and started moving in the direction of the great light. The tall man walked slowly toward a mountain peak. Vast multitudes of people gathered and followed him. They wondered what it could possibly be in the hands of this stranger that could emit such a beautiful light. As they drew nearer, they saw that the object resembled a great diamond, much larger than any seen on earth before. Then a marvelous thing happened. As if in answer to the question uppermost in all their minds, they suddenly knew that it was the great diamond of truth. With bated breath, they watched the strange visitor as he climbed to the highest pinnacle of the mountain. His figure was clearly silhouetted against the blazing sunset. There he paused, turned around, and with both hands slowly raised the scintillating mass high above his head. The multitudes were awed, and many fell on their knees as the radiance of the matchless jewel shone full upon them. They felt the sense of peace and joy engulf them. A great hush expectantly came upon the throng. What great words of ageless wisdom was this being with the fiery diamond about to pronounce to the people of earth? All ears strained to hear him. The silence was overwhelming. But suddenly the silence was shattered by a mighty gasp from the multitudes. Without uttering a word, the stranger, holding the great diamond aloft, slowly and silently opened his fingers and let it drop. It crashed on a rock at his feet and splintered into 1,000 fragments. The fragments cascaded down the sides of the mountain in all directions, breaking into myriads of tiny fragments. Each tiny particle, it was noted, flashed not with the white light of the great diamond, but with a beautiful scintillating color of its own. No one noticed that the tall stranger suddenly disappeared as mysteriously as he had come. After a momentary period of stunned inaction, the multitude came to life. At first, individuals started eagerly picking up the brilliant pieces of the diamond nearest to them. Then those without any pieces started scrambling for more distant ones. Then some without started snatching pieces from others. Soon came terrible confusion, conflict, screaming, fighting, all manner of violence. Women and children were trampled underfoot. Men killed each other in uncontrolled passion to possess a shining fragment of the great diamond. As the disorders finally subsided, and those who were left in possession of the glittering splinters finally made their way to their homes, each of them was heard to exclaim, "Ah, now I possess the truth." Each possessor called his possession my diamond of truth. Each owner recognized the value of that which he now held, but not one of them ever thought or admitted that his cherished shining silver of diamond was only a tiny fragment of an infinite whole, the great diamond of truth. Little green fields. But this is not the end of the story. In order to protect his fragmented diamond, each owner saw fit to erect a high wall around his home and the little green fields which he cultivated successfully with the help of the truth he had learned from his bit of diamond. As the original owners died, their sons and daughters inherited the diamond fragments, and the little green fields with the high walls around them, which by now covered all earth. And with every passing generation, the walls were built higher to protect the sacred truths of the diamond fragments. These truths were thus known only to those who tilled the little green fields inside the high walls. No one living in one little green field ever thought of climbing the surrounding walls to see what went on in the adjacent little fields to the north and the south, and the east and the west. For one thing, the walls were too high. For another, all family traditions and laws forbade it. Also, why should any sane person want to contaminate their great possession of truth with the spurious and heretical doctrines of neighbors? Were not these truths given to their grandfathers by a God who came to earth for this very purpose? All felt under stern obligation to guard and protect the great truth of their own diamonds. Little shiny fragments of truth, little green fields of exclusiveness, how they cover our earth today. Fragmentation and exclusiveness, the hallmark and the outstanding weakness of this civilization. The years of division. For endless centuries, Earthman has displayed a veritable genius for separation, division, and fragmentation. He is like the little boy who tears a watch to pieces and then cannot put it together so it will work. There is nothing wrong with childhood as a phase of life and learning, but a higher viewpoint now beckons Earthman to come to cosmic manhood. In the past, he has produced fragmentations in almost every phase of life. As a result, we are a divided civilization. We are divided geographically, linguistically, racially, nationally, ideologically, politically, economically, culturally, scientifically, religiously, and in many other ways. Many individuals actually believe that the tiny fragments of truth they are familiar with or working with, is the totality of truth. Others accept the idea that one phase of truth can be incompatible with another, and that both can still be truth. We tend to specialize on facets of truth and to forget the whole. In fact, we almost specialize ourselves in the cosmic oblivion. Something has to be done. It has become imperative that we find the reconciliation of the parts, the reconciliation of such areas as science and religion, of armaments and peace, of nationalism and brotherhood, of psychotherapy and metaphysics, of medicine and spiritual healing, and many other items. How can any fragment of truth possibly be inconsistent with another? Somewhere in the future, all things that are true must merge into one great consistent whole. Is it not so? An age of synthesis. We feel that the fragmenting forces of life have about spent themselves on Earth, and that we are now entering a new age of irresistible synthesis and cosmic purpose. This does not mean that irreconcilable elements will be welded together. Not at all. It means that great cosmic changes will remove and resolve the incompatible elements, and that the things that unite us will be seen as more potent and valuable than the things that divide us. It may not mean that man necessarily ceases his intense study of life's details, but surely he will make greater efforts to determine where the parts fit into the whole. As we see it in the years ahead, man will actually start resembling the great diamond of cosmic truth. He will gather the fragments from everywhere and fit the pieces together again. Man will become willing to recognize truth in others and to gather it wherever it may be found, regardless of the labels now placed upon it. He will overcome his prejudices and his taboos. All knowledge is useful in its proper place. There are no cosmic inconsistencies. In reassembling the great diamond, and all parts will fall into place. But in the process, values and emphasis are bound to change. Things that seem very important to us today may not appear so important in the future. And things that now seem of little importance may be seen as vital in days to come. In this very literal sense, we may discover that the first shall be the last. The more we study Earth and the people on it, the more convinced we become that many of the things that this civilization needs, the great saving cosmic principles and knowledge that we need, are already on Earth. Truth is here and now. Only it is so fragmented and so concealed in exclusive groups that it is almost indistinguishable. It is mankind's work to synthesize the fragments of truth in this age, to restore the whole diamond. If a great master appeared on earth today and the people said to him, "Great master, tell us the truth about life. Tell us what we need," it seems to us he might reply, "The great diamond of truth was given to your civilization thousands of years ago. It now lies in tiny fragments all over your world. Tear down the walls of exclusiveness. Put the pieces of the diamond together. Work for the good of all, and the light of the diamond of truth shall again shine on your planet, and salvation and glory will be yours." The cosmic component. One of the themes of this book is the ever-present availability of cosmic truth, the availability of a far greater and more rewarding viewpoint of life that most of us now enjoy. Somehow we must learn to help ourselves to this more comprehensive and coordinated viewpoint. Another theme is that there exists a cosmic component to life on this planet, which, until recently, has been obscured by our fragmentation of truth. But as we start sincerely utilizing all of the avenues of truth which have been made available to us, the scientific, religious, psychic, metaphysical, and occult facets of truth, then a great breakthrough can occur. We shall discover that we are literally not alone in the universe, that we are part of a gigantic community of life, an activity extending into outer space far beyond the present confines of our limited awareness. Above all, we shall learn that there exists a great cosmic plan for the planet Earth, and that we alone do not have the final say as to the future of this planetary school. Although our incredible human egotism has led us to believe for a long time that we were the sole rulers of Earth, the breakthrough will finally end the cosmic isolation, the cosmic quarantine in which Earth has been living, and we will eventually play our part in the cosmic family of planets circling our sun, and on higher levels of consciousness will enjoy social, economic, and spiritual intercourse with other solar systems. The cosmic component of life will in time unfold to us all these privileges and many more. A practical suggestion. As we all diligently set about reassembling the fragments of the great diamond of cosmic truth, it is not possible that its scintillating and beneficent rays may again enfold Earth in unsurpassed joy, freedom, peace, and progress. Will we not all find our rightful place in the great plan of universal life? It is our hope that the great religious and educational institutions, the great churches, universities, and governments of Earth will wake up and take a more active part in this great synthesis of truth. To combat the old tendencies towards excessive specialization and exclusiveness, why not create some chairs or professorships of integrated cosmic knowledge, which will emphasize the essential unity of all fragments of truth, and show how they fit together into a greater and more cosmic viewpoint of life than has ever before been presented on Earth. And that's the end of that chapter. The next one will be the Great Flying Saucer Saga. Goodbye, Brav. Goodbye.